I feel like I don't have to exaggerate when I say that you guys clearly enjoy the Ninjago Theories videos, and I've got to say, I really enjoy them too. Unfortunately, this series will go on for as long as you guys basically want them, because there's always going to be a surplus of Ninjago Theories out there, and is that a bad thing? No, I'm just going to have to avoid the silly ones. But like I said, there are so many amazing theories out there that I would love to talk about for as long as you guys want, like I said. And with that, welcome to Ninjago Theories 3. Like I said, there is a very short brief when it comes to these videos, one being that 5 is the least likely, whereas 1 is the most likely, in my opinion, and I'm not going to entertain silly theories, blah blah blah. Can't believe I'm saying this bit again, but guess what? Your nan ain't the first ninjutsu master! And just like that, I am going to get into a theory that I saw a lot of in the last video, and that's the theory that Raz's master is in fact the Overlord. And I will let you have one quick guess as whether you think I believe this theory or not. Do I believe it? 3, 2, 1. No! I'm gonna put it simply. I don't think they're going to be using the Overlord after the event of Crystallized. I truly think they are going to avoid Crystallize like it's the plague, which is probably why we haven't had Harumi mentioned recently either. But of course I do see why this theory is based in some sort of logic. Raz's master clearly prioritizes strength above all else. Obviously, where else would Shatter Spin really come from? But outside of that, there's not really much else to go off of. They are being purposely discreet with who his master is, so it is a big reveal. And if it was up to me, it would be an entirely new character to be the threat. And I truly don't think we're going to see the Overlord be Raz's master. Now, could I be wrong? Obviously I could be, but I just don't think they're going to do it like I said. I think they're going to focus on a new villain because by all accounts Dragon's Rising is a new series. But with that out of the way, let's get into theory 4, and a theory that I believe a bit more than the other one. And this theory is basically just a cut content that I think was going to happen. And that being is that Lloyd was going to keep the Sword of Sanctuary after the event of possession. Now this again is purely based off of not much apart from the few bits we got in possession, but like that, I can dream. I truly think they were setting up Lloyd to adopt the master title while also having a cool weapon, that being the Sword of Sanctuary. And I mainly think this comes from the fact that Lloyd was acting like he was gonna keep the sword at the end of the season. He almost cherishes the sword at the end of the episode, and he keeps it on his back. He doesn't give up the sword in any sort of way. But next thing we knew, the sword was gone and it was in the vault in Hiroshi's labyrinth. But I truly do think it was a setup to Lloyd keeping the sword and having a very unique sword going in from here onwards. But I do think they got rid of it because it would have made Lloyd a bit too overpowered. But like I said, I do think while this is a theory, it's more of a cut content idea for Ninjago. And I'm gonna be honest, for all the fans out there, I do intend on doing a video regarding the cut content of Ninjago soon, so stay tuned for that. But like I said, this was probably just cut to keep Lloyd from being completely overpowered, considering his element already did that. But just like that, we're gonna go to number 3. Number 3 comes from the idea that the battle between brothers showed a curse being placed on Wu. Now in this short, we do see Garmadon get banished while being younger to the underworld, and it was because of Wu's print on his robes. Now, as we're aware, not a lot of time does actually go by between this short and the pilot. It's probably just over the age of Lloyd. So that means that in that time, Wu went from extremely young looking to extremely old. Now the theory essentially states that the curse that was placed on Garmadon that turned him into the form that he got and banished him to the underworld severely affected both of them, but mainly Wu, mainly regarding his age. And I do personally like this explanation on how Wu grows up so quickly, because rounding it down to the fact that he's the son of the first Ninjutsu master didn't really cut it for me. But hey, it makes sense. Sort of. But like I said, I do think this theory is true to an extent, because how else would you really explain Wu's aging and Wu not really thinking too much about his aging in that short span of time? And in my opinion, he almost seems to be aware that the robes that he wore were somewhat cursed, because we only see him wear it once and then we see a different version of it in Legacy. But that is that theory, and I do think it's the most controversial of the bunch because it's something that's just not outright explained and purely fan canon or just a fan theory like I said. but let me know what you guys think of it. Theory 2 I think is extremely interesting, and it regards the merge. This theory essentially states that the main thing that sped up the merge was the destruction of the realm crystal, because as we know, Wu was not anticipating the merge for centuries. So what suddenly brought this crazy event so far forward out of thin air to the point where it even took Wu off guard? And in my opinion, it somewhat has to be something to do with something that connects all the realms, and what was destroyed in season 10. The realm crystal. And I do think to an extent this somewhat does make sense, because there's not much time between Dragon's Rising and the realm crystal being destroyed. There was a few months between season 10 and 11, and the common theory is that season 11 through till the end of Crystallize takes place over the course of about a year, apart from Nia's departure. But this would explain why it went from centuries to mere years. Now, is there any sort of logic or actual evidence backing this up? Good God, no. But it is a nice way to explain away how this merge happened and how it happened so quick compared to how Wu predicted it to be. But just like that, let's get on to the final theory. And of course, the final theory has to be Aaron is Lloyd's great-grandmother. No, I'm not acknowledging this theory. I will never acknowledge this theory. You know who you are. Let's get to the actual one. The final theory for today is the idea that Yang's temple is still floating around somewhere in the merged lands. But to be fair, this is probably more of a factual thing than anything, but the ambiguous nature of Yang's island since the event of Hands of Time has certainly remained interesting. The theory essentially goes that through everything that has ever happened between season 7 and now, Yang's temple is still somewhere, and this is mainly because of Clancy's ceremony. Of course, when Narukon and Delara were married, Clancy said that the temple would stand the test of time, and since then, no matter what, when we've seen it, Yang's temple has been afloat. Now, does that mean it is still floating around somewhere within the merged lands? I really do think it is. I just wish they would give us a very nice nod to it, or at least have some sort of acknowledgement that it is still out there, because we don't know what's happened to it basically since season 8. Because the most we got post season 7 was Lloyd noting that one of their bases was a bit too out in the open, and at that point in time, the base that we knew that the ninja used was the Temple of Air Jitsu itself. So above anything, I just want to know, where is Yang's temple, or more specifically Yang's island, because I just want to know where it is. Is it still exactly where it was as of the event of season 7, or is it gonna drift? Because I think it would make for something really interesting if Yang's temple was just floating around on its own somewhere in the merged lands. I think it would make it very interesting to say the least, and I'm surprised it hasn't been brought up since then, but I feel like they haven't, because that means they'd have to acknowledge that Air Jitsu exists. But just like that, that is the 5 theories that I'm going to present to you today, and let me know which ones you do believe and which ones you don't. But as a quick summary for you, do I believe the theory, yes or no? No, yes, 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 yes. There we go, nice little TLDR for you. And just before I finish the video, I do want to point out something interesting to the fans that have been around for a while. For one, I see you guys. If I haven't replied to your comment, I do apologize, but I can almost guarantee I've read it. But other than that, just a fun little thing for you. While everything I've done within the last month has been edited, posted, and everything that's been done is by me, this is actually the first video I filmed in about a month. Purely just down to the fact I was busy, but this is the first video I filmed in a while, and I got to say I'm so glad to be back, and I can't wait to be making more videos like this for you. But let me know what you thought of this video, and also if you do want to see any videos be made, because I've got so many ideas, but I'd like to know what you guys would like to see, because above all else, I make content so you guys can enjoy it. But just like that, thanks for watching the video guys, and I do hope you enjoyed. Take care, okay,